Hi, welcome to Astrobabble. I'm Donna from Donna B Astrology,
And I'm Lynda from Scullywag Astrology.
and today we're going to be talking about the horoscope for Taurus for 2023.
Yeah. Oh, and we recommend that you read this if you're a Taurus ascendant, but if you're a Taurus sun or moon, you can read it. But if you're not sure why you should read your ascendant sign instead of your sun or moon, we've got a video and we're going to put a link to that. So that'll explain all that.
And today we're going to be starting with the malefics first. And these are the planets that cause us problems or causes us to do the things that are uncomfortable for us. Not necessarily bad, but they can be a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, they're the
It's a nice way of
troublemakers.
Yeah, they are. They can be the troublemakers. Although I like to say Mars. I met my husband. I had two children under the Mars retrograde. So, you know,
Yeah.
I they do help you move and advance your life. So
Yeah.
that's
And we
what
will be
the
getting to Jupiter and Venus a little bit later. So stick around because we'll tell you when's the best time for different areas in your life. But we're starting off with Mars, and we're concentrating on Mars because Mars retrogrades every 2 years. It's been retrograde since the 30th of October 2022, which meant that it's been in Gemini. It should usually be in a sign for 6 weeks, but it's spent 7 months by the time it finishes in Gemini. So we're going to cover that because it's been in your second house. So it's been causing some problems, most likely to do with your finances, your income, and possessions. When Mars is in the second house, it can burn a hole in your pocket. So it will be very nice for Taurus ascendants to get Mars out of there because he's probably been causing you quite a bit of expense. And when Mars was retrograde, Mars just wants to move forward because Mars is energy, it's action, it's courage, but it's also aggression and yeah, severing and yeah, all sorts of. But Paul Mars has been retrograde since the 30th of October. He will actually station direct on the 12th of January, so things should start to improve then. But he is in his shadow period until the 15th of March, so you could still have some issues there. And he will finally move out of that second house from the 25th of March. So, and it's not just you, everybody's had to deal with Mars for such a long time in one particular area of your chart. Unfortunately, for Taurus ascendants, it's been in the financial area, but it's
yes,
going to move into your third.
but it won't be in the same sign for like it's been here for 6 months. It's not going to be in a sign for 6 months. It's going to go in. It's going to go into the third house, and then it's going to, then it's going to move into the fourth house
Yeah,
in a relatively quicker time than it has been
yeah,
lingering in the second house for a long
yeah.
time.
Yeah, it'll be in a sign for about 5 or 6 weeks and then it'll move on. And, you know, if you listen to Donna and I do full moon and new moon horoscopes, and we address, you know, what the planets are doing, what signs they're moving into, what aspects they're making to other planets. So during the year, you can keep up to date with all those sorts of things, but we're just giving you a general overview here. Mars is going to move into your third house from the 25th of March. So you may find that issues to do with siblings, because siblings are a third house topic, early education, transportation, and short distance travel might be more problematic for you, particularly if you're born during the day, because Mars does tend to cause more trouble for people who are born during the day, like Donna. So
Yep.
yeah, so and it can cause things like arguments. So like this might be a little bit of a contentious time with siblings or aunts, uncles, like close family relationships. Or, you know, it could be issues to do with a car, or it could be dealing with short courses. You know, Mars can be very direct. It can be, you know, you power through. One way to deal with a malefic is to try and use it constructively. With Mars, we want to use that energy in a constructive way. So rather than fighting with a sibling, maybe, take up a sport with them, because you're using that energy, but you're using it in a positive manner.
Very nice. Very nice. I like that. I like that's a good way to use that energy. It's either that or chit chat over a bonfire.
Oh, well, that's another idea too. Yeah. Then we have the greater malefic Saturn. So Saturn's been in Aquarius for a little while. Saturn is all about restrictions and limitations. Saturn's the planet that says no. If you're born at night, so between sunset and sunrise, Saturn is likely to be the planet that's most difficult for you. Just as if you're born during the day, Mars is your most difficult planet. Saturn has been in Aquarius, and that is your 10th house. So you may have been having issues to do with career or public reputation. For some, particularly if you're a day chart, this could have actually brought kind of rewards, in that Saturn it can be authority. So you can be, if you've been applying yourself and you've built that structure from the ground up and it's solid and reliable, this could be a time, in the 10th house, where maybe, you've become a bit of an authority in your field, or it doesn't necessarily, it just depends how you use that. As I said, that's probably more applicable for day charts. Night charts might find this a little bit more difficult. Maybe the workplace was a little bit more challenging. You found yourself a little bit hamstringed by rules and regulations. Yeah, it can be a difficult planet, but it will move into Pisces, different part of your chart, from the 7th of March. From the 7th of March, it's going to move into your 11th house.
And Saturn is known for it's the planet of no, it's the planet of restriction, it's the planet of, you've got to do this, or you've got to do this before you can do that. It helps you cross your T's and dot your I's, and and it was in your house of what you're known for, so that your house of reputation, moving into your 11th house, which should be, offer more structure to your groups that you're in associations that you're with. So that would be the energy that we're going to be experiencing. I am a Taurus rising, so I am right here with you. It's going to be moving into the 11th house of hopes and dreams, and, to offer that structure that Saturn is known to give, with groups and all that. So this will be happening, and it's going to move in on the 7th of March. So we've experienced this. We know what Saturn does. So
Saturn in the 11th house will, maybe you'll become like the leader of the group, perhaps. Maybe you take up a responsible position within a group, whether that's, you become like a PNC, what do you call it? PTA over there, I believe, with schools and that. Maybe you kind of run for some sort of position in something like that, or within some other group, you're kind of in a position of authority, or it could be, there could be issues like maybe you just kind of can't see your friends as often as you could. Maybe you've got other obligations. So there's limitations with how you can mix with your friends or groups. It's also the house of your hopes and dreams. So yeah, this would be a good time if you're working on those hopes and dreams. Maybe not a time, because Saturn's going to be there for 2.5 years, till about February 2026. Maybe not a time when your hopes and dreams are manifested, perhaps, but a good time to be building that solid foundation, so that when it does manifest, it's solid. It's not something that, it's not like a sandcastle where the tide can come in and knock it out. It's solid. It's going to withstand the test of time. 11th house is also those that can assist us in 10th house matters, so like career and public reputation. So maybe people that you thought were going to be able to assist you might not be able to as much, or perhaps that Saturn figure, the authority, or somebody who's kind of got some sort of experience, like, the old experienced master of the profession taking on an apprentice under their wing and kind of mentoring them. Maybe you get a mentor at this time who's older and more experienced and is willing to show you the ropes. With all the planets, there's the good and the bad. The trick is to try and manifest that away to that it works for you. So if you're having trouble with things like networking, or those that can assist you in career or public reputation, maybe it's a good time to look around for a mentor, somebody like that.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Very nice. I definitely like that. And Pluto is the planet of transformation. It's also the planet of change and intensity. And this is going to go, and it's going to try. It's been working its way to Aquarius, but it'll be leaving Capricorn and it'll be moving into Aquarius, and that's going to be a new sign. So, that'll be the house of, from where your philosophy and what you have might have been changing. You might have been um going through a transformation, a philosophical transformation. You might have been doing some legal matters as well, maybe publishing, but that's all going to be moving from your ninth house into your 10th house. And Pluto is the planet of intense change, um not known to be a comfortable change. It is not known to be a comfortable change, yet a necessary change for growth. So what Pluto's been working with you all the way through the zodiac, and it's now moving to this aspect of our lives. And this is just part of the process of where you need to go, and the growth that your soul has embarked on. So Pluto will not enter all of the zodiac houses in your chart. It you People don't live for about 240-50 years. So
Yeah.
you only get Pluto to do those transformational changes just during a snippet, or just a block of a life. So this is the part that Pluto is going to help you change. So this is great. I mean, it's exciting. It's A lot of people go, oh no, but it is a chance to do some transformation, and it can be intense, and chances are it will be uncomfortable.
Mhm.
But this is the growth that you have chosen for yourself. So
Yeah, I mean, Pluto can be in a sign for anything from 14 to 30 years, depends what sign it's going through. Pluto's been in Capricorn since January 2008. It does dip into Aquarius. It's going to be in Aquarius and your 10th house of career and public reputation from the 23rd of March 2023, but it will go back into Capricorn in June. And then it will come back into Aquarius from the 20th of January the following year in 2024. But then later in 2004, it's going to retrograde back into Capricorn again for a short while from September. And finally, it will leave Capricorn for another 250 years or so in November 2024. So, yep, we've got Pluto moving into Aquarius, which is a big shift. And it's, as Donna said, moving from your ninth house, from those philosophical and matters to do with esoteric subjects and law and religion and beliefs and other cultures and other countries. And it's moving into your career and public reputation, but it's not quite finished with that ninth house matters yet, those things that we just mentioned. It's still going to be kind of coming back and checking that, all that transformation is as it should be, but it's kind of looking ahead at your career and how others view you. Can also have things to do with rewards and recognition. Pluto does have a bit of a scary reputation, and it can be, like Donna said, quite uncomfortable. named for the god of the underworld sort of thing. So, but yeah, I always think of, Pluto as the phoenix from the flames. So it's your time up to bat. The 10th house is a very, very visible house. I'm not sure how long Pluto is going to be in Aquarius, but it will be at least 14 years. It's going to be a long time. So I wouldn't expect huge changes in your career or public reputation, in the next year or two. This is a long, long process. This is a generational planet and it affects everyone. But if you've got planets in Aquarius, eventually that Pluto is going to move over them, and that's going to be super significant. And as Pluto moves along, if it's making contacts, sextiles, trines, squares, oppositions, conjunctions to your natal placements in your natal chart, ascendant, MC, or your planets, yes, you're going to feel that too, but mainly to do with, how you're viewed in the world. But now for something much more fun.
We move on to the benefics.
Yes.
Very nice. Jupiter is known as the greater benefic. It is the planet that gives the optimism, the expanse, it grows things where Saturn brings things down. Jupiter is wanting to expand, and Jupiter is in Aries, and it'll move into Taurus in May, and it's going from in the 12th house, and it's going to move into the first house. So we will have more benefic stuff coming towards us, at the end, more towards the end of the year, after May. But right now, what it's doing, it's asking us to expand our inner, it's looking for our inner knowledge, our inner workings of what we're trying to do, because you need to, in order to bring the good things into your life, you need to get rid of a lot of the older things, and Jupiter in the 12th house right now is probably reevaluating what we need in our life, and help. I think it's helping Pluto. I kind of do think that it's all that. They're all kind of working together to get us to, a certain place. And in the 12th house, Jupiter is residing now.
Yeah.
Not as happy, there, but
yeah, in the 12th house, a lot of kind of maybe, well, the 12th house is very much behind the scenes, and it can be places of confinement and that. One thing when
because
sorry, go on.
I was going to say, because when it's going to move right into that first house, and it's going to want to do, it's going to give you all those benefic things to your first house, which is the house of self. So that's all I was going to interject there. Go ahead.
Yeah. With Jupiter in the first house, because the first house is kind of like how we appear to others, how we dawn on others. So you're going to be very, you're going to seem very, I always think of Jupiter as like a jolly uncle, someone who's a little bit eccentric, and he's a world traveler, and he comes back and he's got gifts for everyone. And yeah, it's just, yeah, enthusiastic, it's knowledgeable, it's wisdom, it's optimism. And yeah, so you're going to be all those things. People, it's just a really nice energy with Jupiter. You may need to watch that because it is your appearance as well. And Jupiter does like to expand. So really easy to put on weight during this time. He's going to be there for about a year, and he will retrograde during that time because Jupiter retrogrades every year, but he's going to stay in Taurus. Once he moves into Taurus, he's not moving back into Aries. Once he leaves Aries, which is in May, he's not going back. He won't be back for another 12 years. So yeah, might need to, watch the waistline a little bit at this time. But apart from that, really fun. I kind of think of, this could be life of the party type thing. So yeah.
Very nice. Thanks for the heads up.
And then we've
And then
got
the other
our other
benefic,
benefic. Yeah.
this is considered the bright one. This is Venus. She moves around a lot faster than Jupiter. Jupiter, it will be in just 2 signs for the year. Venus is going to hit almost all of them. She's starting out in Capricorn. So she will be in all of them. So she'll be, she's in charge of the social aspects of our life. So she'll be bringing the benefics and the benefic things to the social aspects of our life, the beautification, the arts, um the wanting to uh bring people together. That's the energy of Venus. Singing as well. Yeah, this is a very nice one, and it's good that she kind of like goes through all of the planets,
Yeah.
or all the signs really, nobody is without Venus this year, so which will be
Yeah.
nice.
Cool.
And she'll go into Aquarius January 2nd, and she'll be there until January 22nd or 26th, and that's going to be in your 10th house, the house of career. So you can expect good things in your house of career. And then she'll move into Pisces on the 26th of January, and she'll stay there until February 20th. And that's the house of groups and associations. And then she'll move into the 12th house, and that might give you the little bit of respite that you might need to because that's the inner workings. It can be a house of endings. She might be able to end some things on a pleasant note, which would be nice.
Yeah, Venus and Jupiter, both benefics, wherever they are in your chart, tend to bring good things. With Venus in Pisces between the 26th of January and 20th of Feb, there's chance, maybe groups, friends, organizations, maybe you might, because Venus is relationships, so, there might be a romantic prospect amongst that. But yeah, Venus moves into Taurus on the 16th of March and will be there to the 11th of April. Now, this is a really good time for you because the first house is all about you, and Venus in Taurus, she's in dignity. She rules Taurus, so she's very, very comfortable there. Great time for buying clothes. You should look great at this time because, the first house is how you appear. It's your appearance. Yeah, great for buying clothes. And you should be charming. People like you. You're approachable. You get along with everyone. It's just really nice to have Venus in the first house. She'll move into Gemini in the second house from the 11th of April to the 7th of May. That will be in your second house. So income, finances, and resources. So, maybe there's a bonus from somewhere, maybe work or just an unexpected bonus at this time. Could be an increase in income, or maybe, just a nice present at that time. And from the 7th of May to the 5th of June, Venus will be in Cancer, which will be your third house. So this is a good time to be spending with siblings, extended family, because it's harmonious. It's nice time to spend with neighbors or those in your local neighborhood.
Very nice. And then June 5th, she'll move into your fourth house of Leo. And that could give you an opportunity to either receive something to do with land, your heritage, or even your home. It's a great time for, Venus to be running through your fourth house of home. A beautification project definitely could be on the docket there.
I just want to mention too, with Venus and Leo, Venus is going to actually retrograde in Leo. So while Venus is
That's
usually
right.
in a sign for about 4 weeks, she's going to spend an extended time in Leo. She's going to be there from the 5th of June to the 8th of October because she's going to retrograde during that period. Venus retrogrades are times when we kind of reevaluate matters to do with Venus. So relationships, art, beauty, values. So it could be you start redecorating that house and then kind of decide, oh, no, I don't like that color anymore, or, something like that. Hopefully that's all it is, depending on how much you spend on it. But yeah, so she's going to spend an extended amount of time in that house, maybe some relationships with parents, because parents are a fourth house matter too. Maybe those are being reevaluated somewhat, maybe, and particularly if your parents are getting older, that dynamic changes, from child to, um, to adults to, when you kind of flip to that, you're kind of not parenting your parent, but you're becoming more,
Caregiver.
yeah. So matters to do with heritage, family, home, they will be prominent this year.
And yeah, and that the Venus will be in that section of your chart for a number of months because
Yeah,
of the retrograde.
yeah,
So then it'll move October 8th, it'll move into your fifth house of Virgo. And that will be have a lot to do with Venus will visit your themes of children and creativity and expressing of art and those kinds of things. So that'll be a nice time for sure.
yeah. Venus will be in Libra in the sixth house from the 8th of November to the 4th of December. Sixth house is illness. It's also service to others and pets. So this could be a nice time to buy a cute new pet, or it could be, perhaps easing if there's illness. It can kind of perhaps help that a little bit. But Venus is also daily routines, and like the sixth house can be a little bit of it can be a bit irksome, when you're running around and doing this and doing that. Wherever Venus is can sometimes sweeten things, and Venus is in Libra in your sixth house. So she's very powerful here. So it could be a good time when, everything you need to do on your day-to-day list might be just that little bit easier. Everything just flows a little bit sweeter.
That will be nice right around that time of year. And then Venus will move into Scorpio from December 4th to December 29th. And Scorpio in the seventh house, that's the house of the other. That's the house of the one-on-one type of relationships. And Venus being there, you'll get that bonus of, a nice relationship. You'll have um, the benefic flavor to that time of your life for sure, which will be nice. And then by December 29th, she'll move into Sagittarius. And Sagittarius with Venus in it, um, it's going to be in your eighth house. So you might have a benefic of your spouse or significant other might have money or a benefic to, to share. It's also the house of other people's money. So a loan could be coming, in, or an inheritance.
Yeah, totally, totally. I just want to mention too, with that Venus retrograde, it will be from the 22nd of July to the 3rd of September. But when we factor in the retrograde shadow period, it will be from the 19th of June to the 7th of October. During Venus retrograde, it's typically not a really good time for new relationships. If you're already in an established relationship, that's a completely different matter. But new relationships kind of tend to not necessarily go well. It's hard to kind of come in on a Venus retrograde because we're reevaluating things, and we might actually change our mind by the time it's done. So just a heads up. I mean, she's
Yeah.
going to be in your fourth house at the time, but that doesn't mean just because Venus is in your fourth house that new romance isn't out there, looking to be found. So just if it's happening during that time, you might want to be a little bit wary. Not that they're dangerous or anything, but just, it might not be the happy ever after that you think at that time.
Right, because you are trying to reevaluate. Was that the right thing? Was that the.
Yeah.
Yep. But
And
that's what,
I mean,
the planets have you do.
everybody's going through that at the time. You might be doing that and you think, well, they're great, but they might be kind of going through their own evaluation and thinking no. So yeah, it's a time when we're all weighing up all those things, issues to do with values, beauty, art, and relationships. So yeah. And then we have the eclipses. And this is good news for Taurus and Scorpios, because we've had the eclipses over the Scorpio Taurus for the last maybe 18 months or so, over your first and seventh house. So all about you and your relationships. It's going to be moving on soon. We've got a couple of lunar eclipses, one in May and one in October, that are going to finish those off. And they're going to start moving into your 12th and 6th house, which are a little bit challenging houses, but at least sudden, shocking, surprising events coming to light, or shock endings, people eclipsed into or out of your life, is likely to not be such a big theme. The theme is going to be to do with endings, or illness, or service to others, or rest and retreat, or confinement, all those lovely things.
Right. So the first eclipse is going to be a solar eclipse, April 20th. And that's going to happen in Aries in the 12th house. So that's going to be the house of, the more internal and introspection type of 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 themes. And with the solar eclipse, you might learn to bring something out, that you might want to change something in, about how you're thinking about things. And then on May 5th, you're going to have a lunar eclipse, and that's going to happen in Scorpio. So this is really in the seventh house. But chances are this is all having to relate to do with about 18 years ago. So think back to about then, of when these eclipses were happening in the same area of your chart. So it might give you a chance to revisit some of these thing, and that's going to be happening May 5th.
Yeah, just with that
The next,
first one,
yeah,
the solar eclipse of 20th of April, because the 12th house is hidden and secret matters as well. And eclipses, particularly solar eclipses, can suddenly bring something to light. So that could be quite interesting. It could be secrets unveiled at that time, or yeah. It might not necessarily be something you're trying to keep secret. It might be something that's kind of revealed to you at this time. So interesting time. And with all eclipses, if the eclipse degree is making contact on, something in your natal chart, it's going to be more significant.
I have a grandchild that's due the following the day after that. So that would definitely
Wow.
be something new coming in,
Certainly would be. Well, oh,
something
12th
hidden.
house. Interesting.
And so the next set of eclipses will in the fall, we're going to happen October 14th. And that's going to happen in the sixth house of what you do daily might be changing. And it's a house of Libra. And then the next one will be happening in your first house, and that's going to be in Taurus on the October 28th. So those will be
Yeah.
the eclipse days of new things coming and things that are leaving.
With that 14th of October solar eclipse, I would be taking your health seriously. If you have something that's not quite right, you're not feeling quite right, go get the checkup. Maybe something will come to light. Maybe it needs to be exposed. That niggling pain that, oh, it'll go away. Well, we don't want it to be appendicitis and burst. Do you know what I mean? Get it
Right, yeah.
checked. Yeah. And that lunar eclipse, that will be the very last of the Taurus Scorpio eclipses. They're moving on to the Aries Libra. So yeah, in the first house, all about you. So yeah, it could be endings, maybe, part of you, how people see you, it's evolved to something else. And, yeah, it'd be interesting. Oh,
It should be.
that's close to your ascendant, isn't
It is. I was
it?
just noticing that first house, that October 28th one.
Mm,
But that's I would suspect that that would be a more change within. A lunar eclipse would be more of a
could
change
be,
that's
yeah.
an internal change more than an outternal change.
Hmm, hmm. Yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm expecting.
Oh, could very well be. So that's Taurus 2023. Donna and I also do fortnightly or every 2 weeks, we do the full moon and new moon horoscopes for all signs. We go through what you can expect depending on where the new moon or full moon is. We also look at, what's happening with the planets, if they're changing signs, what connections or aspects they're making to other planets. So if you found this helpful, certainly, if you're not already, do follow, like, subscribe, because we do those during the year. Donna, what are you doing and where can people find you? And
I am doing natal readings, year in advance readings, horary, electional. I also work with stones, crystal distance healing support um sessions, and yeah, that's what I do. And you can get a hold of me at donnabastrology.com, and it has all my contact information there. And Lynda, what are you doing and how can people get a hold of you?
I'm at Scullywag Astrology. That's astrology.scullywag.com. I do natal readings, I do relationship readings, and year ahead readings. So, yeah. So, thank you, Taurus people, for listening. I hope 2023 is good for you. Please feel free to leave us notes about, what's happening in your chart. If you notice when Venus moves into the different signs, she's brought some good luck or joy to certain areas of your life. Or, if you notice the luck changing from it must be from the 12th house to the first. So, yeah, if you're suddenly the life of the party and what is the other thing? Carefree. I always think of Jupiter being very carefree. So yeah. I mean, he's not always, but yeah. It's a nice sign. So yeah, it's going to be really nice for Taurus having Jupiter in Taurus. And poor Miss Donna's not well. But
I'm dying
thank you,
here.
everyone. And take care.
Thank you. Bye.